Today we're going to do a Nissan or Infiniti process for adding heat ignition. Our sample vehicle is a 2013 Nissan Sentra. I guess we will start off by flipping to the Nissan keyed ignition page and read through our programming notes and hints. Nissan vehicles are unique in that all keys are deleted every time you add a key, so you have to make sure all keys are present. Make sure the customer doesn't have a key at home, because that key will be deleted in this process. Because of that automatic deletion, make sure the vehicle does not have an aftermarket or dealership installed remote start system. Those systems usually include a key hidden in the dash somewhere behind the dash, and that key will also be disabled, and you'll disable the remote start system. The only remote start systems that are okay is if the remote start button is built into the original key, then you know it is actual factory installed remote start, and that type will be okay. All others will not. Another uniqueness with Nissan keyed ignitions is there is a PIN code required for these vehicles, and there's 2 year ranges for PIN codes. One is they call new PIN codes, would be for 2009 and newer, or an old PIN code, and you'll be asked to choose which for 2009 and older. And if the vehicle's actually a 2009, you try the new PIN code first. If it fails, you switch to the old. These vehicles handle 5 program keys. If you try to program more than that maximum, it'll fail to program. Also, these integrated head keys, like this one, the remote buttons are not programmed at the same time as the key. You have to follow the remote programming instructions on the following page. When you're going through the programming process on the tool, you're going to select key and remote, or possibly key or key and keyless, whichever option is first. If there's more than one of those options that say key, you're going to choose the first one and try it first, and if it doesn't work, you'll try the next. For Nissan, you actually begin the process with the ignition off, and you're going to select the program key option. When you get to that point, you're going to have to choose old or new PIN code, as we mentioned before. With some of these vehicles, we found the vehicle sends a failure signal after the PIN code, even though the PIN code worked. So if you get a failure notice after the PIN code, just continue anyway. And when you're instructed to turn the ignition on, you're going to start with the original key and turn it to the on position without starting. The vehicle will go into the programming mode and have you turn the ignition off during that process. If you are instructed to look for the IMO light to flash 5 times, or to go out after several seconds, and the ignition is still off, it means you got out of sequence a little bit. Turn the ignition back to the on position without starting, and then look for the light to go out. That's the signal that the key has been programmed properly. And otherwise, you're following the instructions on the AutoX tool screen. All right, I think we'll get started. Let me get it. First step is then to get the tool plugged in underneath the dash on the driver's side. Okay, I'm plugged in. I'll close the door, fasten my seatbelt, make sure there's no additional chimes that confuse me. I'm going to select OK to the disclaimer. I'm going to select Key Program. I'm going to go down to Nissan, a couple page downs, and there's Nissan. I'm going to select by vehicle, and this is a Sentra, and this is a 2013. So there's really only one valid option for a key, for keyed ignition, so I'm going to select key and keyless. Loading the database. Turn the ignition off, which it is right now, so I just say OK. I'm going to select program key. Now we get the old and new PIN code. If this was older than 2009, we'd hit escape. Since it's a 2013, we're going to hit OK. Just as we're instructed, we're going to ignore this failure message and just say OK. Insert key, turn ignition on. We start with the customer's original, just like every other vehicle. Turn it to the on position without starting. We're going to say OK. Turn ignition off, so we're going off, and we're going to say OK. It's now looking for the IMO light to flash 5 times, so we're going to turn the ignition back on, and we can watch it flash 5 times and go out, which it did, so we're going to say OK. Success on the first key, program the next key, we're going to say OK. Tells us to change keys and turn ignition on. We're going to say OK, and we're getting our 5 flashes right now, just like before, which is done. So we're going to say OK. And the 2 keys are in, and we're now going to hit escape. And we're done programming both keys. Since we saw a program remote option in the menu, I'm just going to continue right now and program the remote function using the AutoX tool. So I'm just going to back up with the escape button, and here's our menu that has remote in it. So we're going to select remote, turn the ignition on, and I'm going to switch back to the original key to begin the process, just like normal. And I have an option to add remote. Turn the ignition on, it already is. I just say OK. Press the lock button on the remote. So now I press that button. And success. Do I want to do another one? And I'm going to do the other one just to play it safe. So I say OK. Press the lock button on the other one. And now I'm all done. Success. So we're going to escape so we can unplug. We'll test the key functions first. I'm going to start the vehicle with the original key. Let it run for 10 seconds. We're good to go. We'll start the vehicle with the new key. Start it right up. Let it run for 10 seconds. We're good to go. And now we'll hop out and we'll test the remotes. Alright, so first we'll test the original key. Unlock, lock. Looks good. Test the new key. Unlock, lock. We're all good.